Thank you. Um, so today's workshop is all about inflammation, and I have some slides to share so that you can see what's going on here. Though I have to find them because I'm running a little late. Um, okay. There they are. All right. So welcome to the weekly Wellbeing Deep Dive. This is a place for people to get some education each week about conquering chronic illness, anything from fibromyalgia to depression to autoimmune issues. If you're struggling with chronic issues and anything health related, this is a good place to learn some strategies on how to solve those things. So today we're diving deep into inflammation. Is it a cause of illness or is it a cure? So I've found that inflammation gets blamed for lots and lots and lots and lots of symptoms. Almost everyone I talk to, their MD has told them that they need to reduce inflammation, that inflammation is causing their pain, it's causing their lack of energy, it's causing their mood struggles, all of those things tied back to inflammation. But I don't think that's really the problem, because inflammation does a lot of good for your body. It brings fluid and nutrients to an injured area. And this is associated with the swelling, which is also splinting. So have any of you ever sprained something or even cut something? What happens? That injured area gets swollen and it gets kind of sore and itchy, right? That's inflammation. So the swelling is protecting and splinting an injured area. Fluids and nutrients, those are there to heal an injured area. And pain is part of your body protecting that injured area. So this is what inflammation is, essentially, is fluid and nutrients and swelling and pain. And yeah, does it feel good? No. It feels pretty terrible, and eventually it gets itchy to all of that stuff, but that is all part of healing, because that's what inflammation's job is. So healing takes energy, so inflammation takes energy, and injuries aren't just things like cuts and sprains and stuff like that, but there can be injuries on the inside too. So things that cause injuries on the inside are things like infections and stress and all of these things that your body's working hard to heal. And when your body's healing, it gets inflamed. And where the problem kind of comes into play is that lots of times our bodies don't have all the information and the tools that they need to complete the healing. So the inflammation stays. And the other thing that happens is we do things like take anti-inflammatories, like NSAIDs, like aspirin or ibuprofen. Ibuprofen's the big one, Advil and stuff like that. Those are all ibuprofen. And how they primarily work is by taking away inflammation. Because we're often told that we should get rid of inflammation, right? We should ice it. We should take Advil, all of these things. But what does that do? When you take away the inflammation, you stop the body's healing process, because that inflammation is there for a reason. And if you've heard me before, you've heard me say this, but your body is always doing the best it can with the information it has. It's always working toward healing. We don't always have the best information, but we can fix that part. And inflammation is one of those super cool things your body does to heal. But yeah, when you get rid of it, whether it's, with the drugs or sometimes with ice, if you do the ice for a couple minutes and then take it off like a sprain or something, that can actually make the inflammation more effective. but don't ice for long periods of time, and don't ever just ice, because that takes away the inflammation entirely. And then you go exactly against your body's healing process. Last week, I talked about symptoms, and I always encourage people when they have a symptom, which inflammation is a symptom, to think about what that symptom is doing for them. So this is a new way to think about inflammation as part of a healing process that's bringing fluid and nutrients and all the healing goodies to an injured area, whether it's an injury you can see and feel or not, because lots of those inside ones we don't see and feel. But when we continue to take away inflammation, those can get worse because you're stopping the healing process. And that's why we get chronic issues eventually, because if you keep taking away the inflammation, keep stopping the body's healing process, that contributes to chronic problems because your body keeps bringing the inflammation back because it still wants to heal. So you've probably heard the term chronic inflammation, and that's often how it happens, is when you have an inflammatory process going on and you take it away. The body's like, hey, wait, I was trying to heal that. You interrupted me. How dare you? And so it brings that inflammation right back. And then you take it away again because it hurts. But then your body brings it back again. And that's how chronic inflammation happens. You get into this process of taking it away, and your body's like, I still want to heal, so I'm going to bring it back. So what do you do instead? Well, that's where I can help a lot, is I can help you find the cause of that inflammation, especially that internal stuff. I mean, if you have a sprain or a cut or something, you can see the cause. Let your body do what it needs to do. Swelling, great. The more swelling, the more fluid and nutrients and splinting you're getting. All those are good, right? But on the inside, it's a lot harder to see and to figure out what's actually going on. But with my work, that's what I do, is I find the cause of what is making that inflammation happen, what your body's actually trying to heal, so we can support that healing. So if you support the inflammation, it can do its job a lot more efficiently and effectively. So you can actually get through the healing and not stay inflamed for so long. And that's really what my work is all about, is creating that long-lasting internal change. Healing should last a long time. And that's why we get inflamed, is so that the healing can last and actually do its job. You can't, healing never happens from the outside. It's happening from the inside. And inflammation is one of those key things that is doing the healing. So if you want to create the healing, if you want that healing to be long lasting on the inside, you got to let the inflammation do its job and support it in doing its job. And that support may look different depending on what the cause of the inflammation is, but it's usually just basic health stuff. So staying hydrated, staying rested, eating good food, having some good emotional and mental support, taking some time for yourself every day so you can reflect on what you need that day, what your body's doing, why it's doing it. All of those things are ways to support your healing. And a big way that I help support people's healing is by finding out what's causing them to need healing and addressing those things specifically. So if you are curious about that, I encourage you to visit me. You can find me at drelizabethdavidson.com and make a free appointment with me so that we can consult and see what is actually going on with you and how we can fix it so your body's healing processes can do their thing without anything getting in the way, but with lots of support. And when your body can do that healing, complete that healing, then it doesn't need to hold on to stuff like inflammation anymore, because it's done its job and it can go away. And inflammation causes pain, it causes discomfort, it's exhausting because your body's working so hard to keep it going and do that healing. So when it's there, you're not going to feel your best, but trust that your body is doing the right thing and get the support to make your body have all the tools it needs so that you can complete your healing. And I am here to help with that. And I would love to answer any questions about any of that, if you have any. So I'm gonna stop sharing and open it up for questions. Anyone? Anyone have any cool inflammatory things going on?
Well, I never knew all that about inflammation, so that was a totally new concept for me. Very enlightening.
Yay.
Super cool.
Yes. Um,
I just was going to add too, I think it's so totally opposite of what we've been told by the medical community. And I mean, I guess my question would be, what about all this gluten-free? I do feel now that the older I've gotten, there are some things that I can tell, especially if it's, I mean, I'm a big Italian, I love pizza and all that pasta, but my body just doesn't handle it. I mean, it's not, I just don't feel great after a couple hours after I've eaten it. So, but the whole inflammation thing, that I'm like Jen, it's like, wow, because I feel like I try to get rid of inflammation as quickly as possible. So anyway.
right. But does that make sense though, that inflammation is doing a lot of healing for you and that's why it's there? Yeah. As far as the not feeling good with certain foods and especially the gluten things, a lot of times what I find is that that's not because you're gluten intolerant or anything like that, but it's because your gut isn't working very well. And so a big part of my work is doing a really deep dive into a gut reset. And lots of times people can tolerate things again. And that's gluten intolerance or gluten allergy or any kind of allergies. That's really kind of an autoimmune process that's going on in your body where your body's fighting itself a bit. And that usually comes from the gut not being healthy enough to process it. So when you reset the gut, you can tolerate that again. I mean, obviously, check in with your intuition and how you're feeling when you eat that stuff. And if it doesn't feel good, avoid it. Or I have some options for like enzymes that you can take to help you digest it once your gut is reset. Or just eat smaller amounts. I mean, or use those as treats. I like, one of my favorite things is pastries. I hardly ever eat them, but when I do, I make them from scratch so I know exactly what's in them. And they're a treat like twice a year and they're so good. If I ate them every day, my gut probably wouldn't be happy and my waistline probably wouldn't be either. But I love using that stuff as a treat. It's pastry season right now, so I've been making them. But any other questions or comments? All right. Well, thanks for coming. I do this every week, and next week the plan is to talk about depression and anxiety and what's really going on behind those types of symptoms, and how you can get more out of your therapy if you do some things on the inside that support you being healthier from there. So depression and anxiety, they can be related to inflammation too. So anyway, same time, same place next week. And as always, this will be posted to YouTube so that if you want your friends to watch it, you can direct them there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here. How fun. All right. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.